There are two kind of people, those who take medication when they have some health issues, and those who take natural remedies when they have some health issues. So today we will talk about the benefit of naturopathy, and I have an amazing guest, Ameeta Gangaran. She is naturopath for more than 25 years experience. She is also marketing specialist. She works with women entrepreneurs to integrate health, energy, and business cycle. And she has a brand holistic vision consultancy, and now she is associated with Cycle Smart. She will talk about all these things and how she can help you in your wellness journey with naturopathy. So welcome
Thank
to
you.
Wellness on
Thank you,
Season.
Mina.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you and to be able to share and support fellow women and people out there looking for natural health alternatives. So I thought that what I would start with is maybe just giving you a bit of a breakdown or explanation of what naturopathy is, because I know that I do get this question even today of, well, what does a naturopath actually do? So naturopathy is a holistic form of healthcare, and it really focuses on supporting the body from the inside out. And the way that we treat people is not just looking for a quick fix or putting a band-aid on a problem and actually forgetting about what is the cause of the symptoms that you're experiencing. So for example, you might have a headache, and most people would reach for ibuprofen or paracetamol to get rid of the headache quickly. But as a naturopath, our role is to try and find out, well, what is the cause of the headache? And then support and treat the body for that. It could be, as simple as not drinking enough water, or there could be an underlying food intolerance, for example, or there could be a lot of stress that may be triggered in the body at the moment that's causing one of the symptoms as a headache to show up. So that's just a quick example. But ultimately, as a naturopath, we work in treating the whole body. So the body, the mind, the spirit, and everything in between.
So I was thinking about naturopathy using natural remedies like herbs, spices, all
Yeah.
these things, because I truly believe in natural remedies and I use them in my daily life.
Right. Yeah.
So could you tell us a little bit about your story with naturopathy? Why you started your journey with naturopathy, and if you have your personal story to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. My journey actually started when I finished school. I started studying chemical engineering, which is a totally different career. And over the first 2 years of studying that, I realized that this career path wasn't for me. It is when we moved from South Africa to Australia, and the opportunity arose for me to start studying something different and change my career. And I come from a family where natural medicine and natural remedies has always been a big focus for us. We always tried to use natural herbs and supplements, and eat healthy diets as well. And so that's something that I've been brought up with. And when we moved to Australia, I actually opened up a newspaper and I saw an advert for naturopathy. And at that stage, so this is going back to the year 2000, I had no idea what naturopathy actually was as a career. So I went to the college, I found out about the course, and it just felt like it was the right thing for me. And so that's where my career started. And from that, I've gone into opening several businesses within the health industry. And my drive over the years has been to really support women with their health, especially their hormonal health. And that's really near and dear to my heart because I've had my own journey with my own hormonal health. And I realized that from a traditional medical perspective, there were not a lot of solutions being offered. And that really frustrated me and made me even more conscious of how natural medicine can support the body and heal and repair and regulate the hormonal cycle. So, yes, I've gone on to work with hundreds of women in that space, helping them regulate their hormones and feel better from within.
Yes, we have had another interview regarding women's change, especially when we you shifted from a corporate world to doing your online business, and
Yes.
how you uh, your naturopathy supported you in your journey to have more energy, to have your hormonal balance. And what are the core principles of naturopathy of the context of women's wellness? Yes, we talked about
Hmm.
hormonal imbalance, menopause, pre-menopause. So, what was your experience with utilizing naturopathy in your journey?
Yeah. For me, I found that using herbs, using nutritional supplements, and working with altering my diet accordingly as well, and looking at what the triggers were to my hormonal imbalance, which often with hormones, there's often an underlying driver of a lot of inflammation that's occurring in the body. So as soon as I started supporting the inflammation and the stress response in the body as well, and looking at my whole lifestyle as well. So, changing my job, changing my business direction, and taking a step back from trying to work with everybody and trying to do too much. Um, as soon as I started doing those and implementing those changes, both within my business and within my health, and my supplement routine, I started to notice that everything started to just calm down from the fact that my sleep was better. I had more energy, and my cycle started to be more regular without the heavy bleeding. So there were a lot of positive changes that came about from that.
Amazing. It's interesting because through natural remedies, we can find more sleep, serenity, having our hormonal imbalance. Could you give some examples of, for example, a natural remedy to sleep well? Because there is one that it's known, but if you can give some examples.
There's the beauty with natural medicine and natural herbs is that there are so many options, you know, and the way that we as a naturopath will choose the right herb for our patient that's going through sleep issues is by understanding again what the cause is for their sleep disturbances. So if we're talking about, say, let's use the example of coming from hormonal imbalances and even the changes from going into perimenopause and that transition, then herbs like ziziphus, vervain, passion flower are really beautiful herbs that not only calm the body down, but also allow your body to go into a deeper sleep and support any symptoms of anxiety and stress that you might be dealing with. But I would like to just say, always with herbs and natural supplements, it's really important that you're using the right formula for you and your circumstances. I know these days it's easy to go into the supermarket or your pharmacy and just pick up a bottle of tablets that says, natural sleep formula or whatever, right? But it's always important to know that, is this the right one for you? Because we are all individual, and what might work for one person isn't necessarily going to work for you. So
Exactly.
I always like to say, speak to a healthcare practitioner about what's going on for you and get a treatment plan that's designed specifically for you for this moment in time.
Of course, Wellness All Seasons is for educational purpose only. We don't give specific advice for those who have health issues. It's really important to seek help from
Yeah.
the professional specialist. Um,
Yeah.
how do you, because I know chamomile, for example, for sleep, it
Mm.
helps for sleep. Do you
Mhm.
believe that we use the herbs, local herbs, than international? Because you are in Australia, I'm in France, I'm originally
Yes.
from Morocco. So truly believe that local herbs, nutrition, all these things are more important than looking for international remedies. And regarding herbs, using herbs, do you have specific herbs in Australia that you use in naturopathy?
There are some traditional Australian and even traditional Aboriginal herbs that we do use, but from a commercial perspective, a lot of the natural herbs and plants that do have health benefits here in Australia, they we don't have enough growing to commercialize that and
Mm.
start being able to sell that as a product. So we're still working on that. But back to the point about using herbs that are local to you. Yes, local is always fantastic. However, there are certain herbs, say, for example, withania, or it's also known as ashwagandha.
Mm.
It's traditionally grown in India, and the therapeutic properties of that herb will be related to where it's grown, the climate conditions, the soil conditions, and you can't always replicate that when you take that natural plant to a different destination and start growing it there.
Yeah,
You may
and
still get some of the benefits, but it might not be as effective.
yeah, and I think that I believe in microbiome. For example, you
Yes,
see, I'm here for
yeah,
more than 30 years in France, but I'm still
yes,
using herbs from Morocco because
Yeah.
it works better for my well-being.
Exactly. Yes.
So I hear a lot about all the wellness trends regarding herbs, supplement globally. But I think that when we focus on local products and what works with our microbiome,
Yeah.
it's also important things because
Absolutely.
most of the time when we hear um, some herbs from India, from South America, etc., it's just marketing and business. But most of the time, what works better for uh, uh, everyday use is local products because
Yeah,
they are specific to the climate
exactly.
of
That you're
this
living in.
place. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So there's two different, I guess, areas that we're talking about. One is using the natural plants and vegetation and fruit and vegetables and even grains that are local to your environment, because yes, from a microbiome perspective, that can have a positive effect on your health. Um, but the second part of it is if you're looking for a therapeutic benefit from that herb. So if you're looking for the active constituents of, say, chamomile, yes, you may get benefit from using the tea if it's grown naturally or locally for you, but to get the active constituents in the levels that you would need. So when we actually test those in the laboratory, then you will notice there'll be slight variations depending on where it's been grown. And
Mm,
to get the high therapeutic level, when we're treating something very specific and deep seated in the body, we do need to get to a higher level of dosing than using only supplementing your diet. We would need to go to, say, the actual liquid tincture of it or a tablet version of that, which has that higher consistency to it and that therapeutic levels in it.
interesting.
Hmm.
How do you find the reaction of women when we talk about naturopathy to help them? They accept easily, or there is some hesitation?
I I think that now, 2025, that the natural medicine industry has grown so much and the information is so readily available that women, I find now when I have a conversation, are a lot more ready and open. And most of them have tried something already within the natural medicine space. Whereas if I reflect back to when I started my career in 2000, um, I always found that women were a lot more open and ready to try versus men.
Yeah, I
Um,
think.
but interesting. But even then, you had to really explain
Yeah.
what natural medicine was, what naturopathy was, what the herbs do. Whereas now, I think the conversation is easier, and women are definitely more open to giving it a go.
So when you decide that you can help them through naturopathy, or it's better to consult a doctor for conventional medicine.
Um, I like to actually advise most of my clients that we work in conjunction with their doctor,
Mm.
because there's certain things, say even testing, that the doctor will be able to perform, and or there's other things that we will be able to do. And if we can work together, that's the
Exactly.
most important thing, because we get the result for the patient, and we're putting the patient first at all times then. So I do like to try and make sure that we have those open relationships with their other healthcare practitioners that they may be seeing.
Yeah, yes, I think so, because there are those who believe 100% that only medication that work, and others who believe, for example, for me, when I visit, it's rare that I visit a doctor,
Yeah.
but we talk a lot about natural remedies, and he knows that he will not subscribe medication for me. So
Yeah.
we sometimes we need just to talk about some questions. You talked about uh, cyclical life of
Mm,
women.
mm,
We talked about this many times regarding menopause, hormonal balance, even in doing business. So
yeah.
how you work with your
With the
clients or
cycle.
patients
Yeah.
with women,
Yeah.
adjust
Um,
their wellness cycle with their business cycle? How you do this using naturopathy?
so for for us, and so when you introduced me, you introduced my business, Holistic Vision, and
Yeah.
mentioned that I've now evolved and am the co-founder along with Janet Katri for Cycle Smart. And that for us is our way of being able to educate the public and women specifically about how to work with their hormonal cycle. And our cycle as a female is a 28 to 33-day cycle versus a men's cycle, which is a 24-hour cycle. And so when we look at the world and we look at our work situation specifically, you will see that business runs on a 24-hour cycle and not on what is innately a female feminine 28-day or 33-day cycle. And unfortunately, as women in the workforce, we've been forced to just go with the 24-hour cycle.
Mm.
This, it doesn't work for us, because when we look at that 28-day cycle, it's actually broken down into four distinct phases. So I like to refer to them as your winter, summer, autumn, and spring phases. And within each of those phases, there's different energy levels, there's different motivation levels that we have. Even our concentration and focus all change within each of those four seasons. And so when we can start understanding, number one, where we are in our cycle, and this is relevant to women that have a period every month or those that don't have a period. You still have the cycle no matter where you are in your life phases. And also, no matter, even if you are, say, taking the oral contraceptive or have gone into menopause and not having any bleeding anymore, you still have these phases, and we teach you how to understand and look out for what's happening in each of those phases, and then work with that to build out your work schedule, your business based on that. That way, you actually start feeling more confident, you start feeling less tired, and like you're not pushing all the time, and you start to feel more regulated within your body.
Yeah.
And that transpires into the relationships that we have, you know, at work and with our family and our friends as well. So it's a positive change that happens with everybody that we comes into our lives.
Yeah, it's interesting. And as you mentioned, in workplace is different because especially if we are in with most of the time we are working with men, we can't talk about all these things in the workplace. And uh, if we do our work independently on the others, we can adjust things regarding our cycle, all these things. But I think in workplace, it's not easy everywhere. I hear that in Spain and UK, they started to think about all these things regarding workplace. But in most places, women's well-being in workplace is not something important to talk
No,
about.
it's definitely still um, evolving at the moment in all countries, here included in Australia. And that's why we at PsychoSmart, we've developed our corporate programs as well. And those programs are dedicated for organizations, for women in leadership roles, and for teams
Ah,
to bring about the education at an organizational level of what's happening with a woman's biology and helping them understand that when you know what's happening with your body and the men know what's happening with a woman's body as well, then there can be a lot more understanding and compassion, as well as building processes into the organization that reflect this change that women are going through. So, yes, we are definitely in the process of taking this out there to an organizational level.
there is hope and
There is
optimism. It's interesting. So, yes, it's needed and it's important everywhere in the world because as women, it's taboo to talk about all these things in the workplace. So, for you, I know you are running your business, and how are you dealing? Because you talked about. The business is running 24 hours and the women cycle is not adapted. So in your journey, how are you dealing with your business and your hormonal cycle
Mm.
by utilizing naturopathy?
So for me personally, and for my business partner Jonita as well, we are really mindful, number one, of what is happening with us internally and where we are in our cycle. And we make sure that in our work schedule, we block our times for when we know we're going to be more creative. We
Mm.
block out times for when we know that we're in our winter phase. So it's best that we don't book any networking events during that time or do any webinars or public speaking at that time as well. So we've been very mindful of mapping our business plan based on what's happening with our cycles. And for us, I don't know if you know this, but 45% of women need time off due to symptoms that they're experiencing because of their hormones. And when we start making these changes, there's been reports of up to 94% of women feeling that they are happier within themselves and their well-being improves when a workplace takes on board and supports their hormonal health.
Yes, and I think that our life now, especially in our world 2025, there are a lot of things impacting our hormones.
Yes.
So I think it's interesting to understand how our body reacts to all the pollution, the things we are using, creams. We use a lot of products, and it
Yeah.
impacts our hormones. So utilizing naturopathy as a remedy to help us is good, but I think about all the things that we can just avoid to have hormonal balance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and that's a really, really important point, because seeing a naturopath and, me prescribing something, a treatment plan, a supplement, a herb, or changing your diet, that's only part of the solution. And
Mm,
like you said, you have to go into your day-to-day environment and start assessing, well, what are the triggers? Where's the toxicity coming from?
mm,
Where's the stress coming from? What is the trigger to the inflammation that might be occurring in your body at the moment? And slowly, slowly, because it's not something you can go in and change overnight, but slowly start making those changes. You could even just start with looking at the type of pots that you use. Do they have Teflon or coating on them? Change that to stainless steel so that you're not getting all of that. And another thing I always tell my clients, stop using plastic containers for your foods, because a lot of the chemicals that affect the female hormones comes
yes.
from plastics, right? So just cutting back slowly, day by day, week by week, you can start to notice the effect and the positive effect on not only your health, but the health and well-being of everybody in your environment as well.
Yes. So as you know, Wellness All Seasons is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If someone listening or watching wants to explore naturopathy more deeply, what steps or resources would you recommend first?
Mm, Depending on what's going on for them, I would definitely recommend, number one, if you've got a specific health condition that you're trying to get support with, speak to a healthcare practitioner, a natural healthcare practitioner. And these days, it's fantastic because you can work with people that are anywhere in the world online. So you can choose online, or if you prefer finding somebody local, that's also really beneficial. So speak to a natural healthcare practitioner, whether that be a naturopath, a herbalist, or even a nutritionist. And secondly, I think that from a resource perspective, we all go to Google and we search for information,
Or ChatGPT or
or
YouTube?
ChatGPT, YouTube, Gemini, all of these platforms these days where, you know, information is readily available.
Is everywhere.
It is. However, like I mentioned at the beginning, I think that it's really important to be careful and mindful of that information,
Exactly.
because it might not be applicable to you specifically, to your environment, even to, your history. ChatGPT, Google, they don't know what's happened in your life up until
Exactly.
this point, right? And
And
that's where the beauty of speaking to a natural healthcare practitioner comes in. My first consultation with a client is an hour and a half. because we spend that time getting to know each other and asking really in-depth questions.
Interesting. And you talked about Cycle Smart, your organization. You are working only with local organization, or you are global? You are working with the global clients.
Yeah, so Cycle Smart, we run online webinars, so they're open to anybody and everybody in the world. And we have participants that have come from the UK, from America, from South Africa, from all over actually, which has been beautiful. For our corporate arm of Cycle Smart, which is WCAB, at this stage, we are local. However, we are in the process of taking it globally, and we will also be incorporating in-person events on a global scale as well moving forward.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's interesting. Amazing.
Yeah,
You will
yeah.
come to Europe, to France,
Yes,
to
definitely.
promote it.
It is in our business plan, so it will happen.
Amazing. I will be there. So, if there were one thing our viewers or listeners could start tomorrow to connect more deeply with their bodies or cycles, what would it be?
I think that there is so much value from starting to track just your energy levels. Start taking a daily track of what your energy level is when you wake up in the morning. Keep a journal or even just a piece of paper with the calendar on there and just start taking note of how you feel when you wake up every day. And then you could do that morning and night as well. And over a 30-day period, over a 60-day period, you're going to start to notice the fluctuations with your energy and your rhythm. And from that, you can start to build out and understand what's happening for your body and when you could do things and schedule things that are more energy intensive on those days that your energy is better. So it's a simple thing. And I just like to tell people it helps you to connect with your body and it helps you to start listening to your body more because, you know, all the time we're in such a rush. We get out of bed and start the day and don't even think about, hey, how am I feeling today? What's happening for me internally? And when you can take that 10 seconds to just think about it, your whole day will start to shift as well.
It's interesting because I was doing episodes about how our brain function, our energy, etc. And
Mm,
I posted a poll on LinkedIn to
yeah,
have feedback about how people feel regarding their motivations, their wellness, all these things. And what comes first was decision fatigue.
mm,
And the problem of energy, most of the time, 63% who voted that it's uh,
yeah,
decision fatigue.
mm,
Sometimes we feel drained, tired. It's not because we worked hard, but because we used our brain a
too
lot,
much.
too
Yes,
much. So
yeah,
our energy can be, there are many factors impacting our energy. It can
yes,
be poor nutrition, it can be poor sleep, it can be overthinking and decision fatigue all the time.
yes.
There are a lot of factors, and I loved your inputs regarding doing a tracking your energy during 30 days or 1 week, really
Yeah.
having an audit about your energy, how you feel, when you eat something, how you feel. All these things help us to understand the root causes of the lack of energy. And of
Exactly.
course, always I advise to do a medical checkup to
Yeah,
understand
absolutely.
if there is some mm, health issues or some maybe vitamin D or vitamin or iron
Exactly.
or
A
something. Yeah,
deficiency. Yeah. And
deficiency.
that's the beauty when, I've been tracking my cycle and my energy and other symptoms for nearly 15 years now. So, I've got a whole long history of that I can go back and reflect and see the changes that have occurred over the years. But yes, to that point of when you start tracking your energy, your motivation, your concentration, your sleep patterns, things like that, you can start to see a pattern. And then that's information that,
Mm.
yes, you can take to your doctor or your natural healthcare practitioner and say, you know, it's when they ask you, how are you feeling? It's easy for us to say that we feel tired or exhausted. But if we can actually go there and say, well, this is what's happening. This is a 30-day overview of my energy and my sleep. They, as a practitioner, will be able to make a much more informed decision about what needs to be tested or what the prescription and treatment plan needs to be as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yes, it's important to track, to
It
understand.
is.
Without tracking, we can't understand what is going on regarding our well-being. So, what
Definitely
is
not.
your, if someone wants to work with you, to have maybe online consultation or local consultation, how they can reach?
Yeah.
I will put all the links in the description.
Yeah, in the
How can
description.
people
I
start?
think the best way is to head to the Cycle Smart website. I would say that would be the first place. So it's just cyclesmart.com.au, and all my contact details are there. You can also find me on social media on Facebook at Cycle Smart.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So, what is your last word to close this interview?
My last word is, I would say, for me, the most important thing is that we are all here for a purpose. Sometimes life feels too hard and too difficult and like we're struggling all the time, but take time out in those instances to look after you and put yourself first above everybody else. So, yes, look after you first. That's the most important thing and the most important message that I want to share.
And I will add, thank you. And I will add, connect with nature because there is always a natural remedy to support you.
Absolutely. Even if it is just even sitting outside in the sunshine, going and taking a walk in a park, connecting with nature from that, it's healing in itself.
Yes, and medicine is most of medication. Normally, the source is nature. And as they don't want to use natural remedies, they are using synthetic things because it's less expensive.
It is.
So I
Yeah,
think connecting with nature, looking for natural remedies is smart.
it is. Absolutely. And you learn so much more about yourself and your body and how you fit in this world as well.
So thank you so much, Ameeta, for your wisdom, sharing your knowledge, your personal experience using naturopathy. Thank you for watching or listening. If you like this episode, please share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to join Wellness All Seasons community. If you like this video, you will like the next one. See you next time.